Welcome to Stitch Crazy. Today we are going to make a table runner, and we're going to be using scraps and material. What I have done is I have got a couple samples here. I'm going to show you those, or one of them first. And this is made with red, white, and black fabric. And my strips on this one are 14 inches wide, and then I have a border. And so this is what the top will look like when it's done. And this is kind of what we're going to be making today. Okay. I do have a second sample to show you, like this is red, white, and black, and these are 3-inch strips. Okay. My other sample that I did, I used blue jeans. And what I've been doing is I've been taking my blue jean strips and cutting it into strips. And so I have like a little container here that I put different size of strips. And what I do is I just sew them together, top stitch them, and then I set them aside. And so I have like the 4-inch strip here, a 3-inch strip, and I got a couple of them sewed together, top stitched here. And then I also down to 1.5-inch strips. I'm just kind of showing you what you can use. And then the sample that I have sewn for today is this one. So it shows how you can use all different kinds of fabric, just depending what color, what style. This is a little heavier for a table runner, but it can be done. Okay. So the products that we're going to need to do our little project here. Fabric, of course. You can buy it by the yard, half yard, 1/4 of a yard. You can do 2.5-inch jelly roll. This would work out good, then you don't have to cut the strips. You would just cut them the length that you want, the width that you want your table runner to be. So, and then all your colors would be here. So this is one way of doing it. Or you can pick out your fabrics like I did here. We would need our cutting board, our ruler for cutting, the rotary cutter, and scissors. And I just got a little snipping for when I sew them together. Now, if you don't have these tools, you can also take like a file folder, and if you have a regular ruler, you can go to whatever size. I think 2.5 or 3-inch strip is a nice size, but you can use whatever size you want. You can draw it on your file folder, and if you don't have these cutters, you can take that, cut it out with a paper scissors, and make your own pattern. And then you just lay it on your fabric, you draw around it, and then you cut it accordingly.
Faster than fast internet is here. Valley now has higher broadband speeds of up to 1 gigabit. Get the bandwidth you need for all your devices at one time. Gaming with no lag time. Video stream your favorite movies instantly in HD quality. Video chat with friends and family without interruption. Download your favorite music and photos in seconds. All on our 100% fiber optics network. Valley offers managed Wi-Fi and backup services too, bringing together all the services you need. Valley Telecommunications Cooperative.
Like I said, on this red one, my strips were 14 inches long. On this piece that I'm working on right now, I cut these 10 inches. So it just depends on the size and the length that you want, the width and the length. And I always put a border all the way around it. And there too, if you have a narrower width, and then you want it wider, you can always make your borders however wide to make your piece the width that you want it to be completed. Okay? So first of all, we would just take our piece of fabric, and I'm gonna lay this down here. And then what I usually do first of all is I cut my one edge so that it's even. And then you're going to do like a 10-inch piece here. And then we're going to lay This has like lines for every inch, So it's kind of nice where you can just lay your fabric right up against that first line. And then we got 1, 2 and a half, and then I would take my 1/2 point and lay that on my line. Okay, so now once you have that first line cut, because you want to cut it this way, we would want to have the straight edge already closest to you. And then I want to do a 10-inch, so then I want to lay that down here. And then I want to get my 2.5-inch strip here. So then I would take my cutter once I have my measurements accordingly, and then I would cut it across here. And sometimes you have to do it twice. Little threads stick. Okay. And then I would cut it down here. Okay, so then you have your piece cut like that. And now you would just keep cutting until you have all the different colors that you want. So I have already cut these ahead of time. And I've got them into pieces. So what I would first do is I would lay out my pieces to see what colors I would like my piece to be. And then what I do is I take 2 strips and I put them together, and we'll go over to the sewing machine. And I usually use a 1/4 of an inch seam, but there again, you can use what you're comfortable with. So then we're going to sew that 1/4 inch seam. And just make sure your edges are together. Okay, and then what I do usually to save on the thread, I just take another 2 and then I would sew it. And then another 2 and sew it. Just keep doing all your 2s together. And then when you're done with that, get this up here. Then I would take my 2 and take another 2 and I just want to make sure I have my colors together. You can have them like a set pattern, or you can just have them random, whatever colors you want. On this, I've kind of did, you know, this pink, then this polka dot, the green, the yellow. So I kind of want to follow that pattern because I've sewn a bigger group here together. So it looks like my black and red are together, so I want those together here. And then we'll take those 2s and 2s and sew them together. And then once you got, you'll have 4. And then I sewed my 4s and my 4s together. Okay. Okay, so these colors are this one. So they're next to, so this one would go against here. So then I would sew this group of 4 onto the other section that I've got sewn together already. Okay. And I think that's long enough for a runner. So then what I would do is I take these pieces, because they can be another runner. And then you decide, okay, what color do I want for my background? Well, I think a black would be good. And you can audition that, like take your black piece and then lay it down here and see. Okay, so maybe I want to try yellow instead of black. Not so much. You could, but I think the black is richer. And if you wanted the green to stand out, then you could do green all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to, let me see if I've got, so I have got a piece here, and I'm just going to lay this out, and I'm going to, because I have a smaller board, you can do this if your fabric, you can just make sure that it lays right on your, that's not pulling, and then I would just cut it to make sure. What I do is I measure my bottom, my folds here, because those should be accurate, and then I'll just cut that across, and then I'm going to take it and move my board, and there are boards that rotate so that you can see. And I'm going to cut the outside strip a little bigger, so I'm going to go with a 3. This one here, I did my strips 2.5, and on the other one I did a 3. So this one I'll do a 3-inch. So I got, oops, it caught here. Just one little thread. And what I did here is I went from edge to edge and the fold, and then I folded it again. Okay. So I'm going to do 3 because that should get me all the way around my quilt. Okay, so now I cut my border strips. And you can just lay this out to make sure that the strips are going to be long enough. See, they're long enough. So then I would sew the right sides together on the edge here. Then I would sew my edge here. And then when I have those sewed on, then I take and put my top piece across. Okay? So when you do that, your finished product is going to look like this red, white, and black one. Where you've got the border, and the border across the top and the bottom. So like I said, you can use whatever colors you want, if you want blues or if you want greens, mix match, scraps of fabric or certain colors. You can make your tabletop or the colors that match your decor. Today I've got some show and tell, and what I've been doing, I found a picture, kind of an abstract art, and I kind of did my own swing with it. So I took and put some felt. I cut out the pieces in felt, and then I did use a glue stick, but then it was kind of coming up. So then I ended up doing a little blanket stitch to secure it. So this is kind of a new thing that I was trying for kind of an abstract art piece. And then I also did a smaller version, but I did this with fabric, and I used the iron-on stabilizer to make the pieces, and then I put a little bit of a black tulle, which is a netting, over it. And I wasn't quite sure how I should finish it, because I went around the blocks here with the hand stitching. And so instead of doing any stitching on the blocks itself, I just basically went all the way around and kind of did my black, and did black stitching just to kind of hold the tulle down. And so I did another little extra art piece here with fabric, and then this one is with felt. So I just thought I'd share my little new projects that I've been working on. So I hope you've enjoyed our show today. If you have any questions or ideas that you would like to see presented on the program, give me a call at 437-2615. Thank you.